And then Intel made them more efficient so that you could fit all this into a laptop. Tight, real tight. And then they helped bring Wi-Fi to everybody.
Whatever that is. Fine, come on.
And now, Intel's best processor ever is here, which helps PCs do things you never thought possible.
Like time travel?
Hey, these pants are timeless.
Introducing Intel's new 6th generation core processor. It's our best processor ever.
You tell me why's it gotta be so cold with you? When you gonna let this whole thing go? You've been holding all the things we used to do. When you gonna open up the door? And would you wanna let this hold you down? If you don't wanna be held at all? You tell me why's it gotta be so cold with you? And I wanna give you more. I must be crazy, crazy to be loving you. I must be crazy, crazy to be loving you. Yeah. Crazier than you.
And welcome Gregory Bryan, Corporate Vice President, General Manager, Intel Client Computing Group.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. First, let's give one more big round of applause for Thief with M Phases on that great song, Crazy. That was brought to you via the help of a 6th generation core Intel processor. We're going to talk a lot more today about how 6th generation core can unleash some great new experiences for consumers around the world. But before I do that, I want to say I'm just really happy to be back here in Asia and here in Sydney today. It's been, it's just a dream to be here at this stunning venue in the Sydney Opera House. It's pretty amazing for the launch of our 6th generation core processor family. So, if you think back in history at Intel, you know that we've had kind of a long history of delivering amazing new experiences to consumers and business people alike. We've shared together some pretty amazing moments. If you think back, way back, I'm not quite old enough myself, 1997, with the introduction of the Pentium processor with MMX technology, we brought multimedia to personal computing for the first time. Then in 2003, we did Centrino, and we asked the world to unwire, and we kind of delivered mobility and that mainstream notebook computing experience for the first time. And then probably most recently, something you all are likely very familiar with, we launched the advent of the 2-in-1 platform, which was the best of a personal computer and the best of a tablet all in one device, which really transformed the computing experience again. So all those kind of big inflection points were meaningful changes in the computing experience that could be delivered. And that was then, and what we're going to talk about today is, this is now. And we're here once again, transforming the computing experience with Intel 6th generation core. So I'm very pleased to be here today to announce the launch of our 6th generation core processors and our core processor family here in Asia Pacific. I've got one with me right here. This is the 6th generation core. This is the Core i7 6700 K-SKU unlocked. It was the first 6th generation core processor that we launched for the enthusiast segment, and obviously today we're bringing a lot more than that. 6th generation core brings incredible innovation for computing in consumer and business, and today you can tell by the wide breadth of design that I have on stage, we have the entire family, all the way from the Core i processors, Core M processors, and now even up to Xeon mobile workstation processor. We've got over 800 designs. After this, there's a showcase. You'll see one of the, I think maybe the largest 6th generation showcase in the world with designs present here in the Opera House. And we've got designs across every category with more than 50 processor SKUs launching now and over the next several months. So this processor, built on 14 nanometer process technology with a new Skylake microarchitecture and 4 years of long processor development work, hard work, is by far and just straight to the point the best microprocessor we've ever made. So, in fact, if you look versus the install base, and this is I think one of the reasons we get excited, it's not just a small step forward, it's a giant leap forward. This processor compared to the typical install base has 2.5 times the performance, it enables 3 times the battery life, 30 times the graphics, and now with the power efficiency that we deliver, allows platforms to become much slimmer, sleeker. You're going to see designs on average that are half as thin as they were before, half the weight that they were before, and obviously all with kind of the latest security technology incorporated in them. So Chuck and I, he's going to help me out today quite a bit. We thought it'd be fun to just take a 5-year-old notebook just to refresh everybody's memory. Does this look familiar to anybody in the room? I think I had one of these, Chuck. This was a Satellite, Core i7 based notebook, kind of circa 2010.
Absolutely.
If you wanted a tool to do the job, this was the tool, right?
This was what you had to use to get the big work done.
And I think, even for a guy like you, just obviously, it's not. Chuck is a pretty strong guy. I think I'll make you hold that one while I take this one. This is circa 2015. This is a 6th generation core based notebook. This is the Toshiba Satellite. This thing is an amazing leap forward versus this thing that's 5 years old. This is 4K ultra high definition display, 4K display, super thin form factor. If I hold it to the side, you can probably see it, including the lid and the base, 15 millimeters thin, weighs 1.3 kilos with the same Core i7 processor that was in this, obviously newer, but it's still Core i7's, level of performance in this platform versus that one, right?
Exactly. Now I can get all my big work done and still carry it.
Yeah, I think I'll take this one. You can have that one and keep it. Cheers. We wanted to highlight some other designs that we had, just to show you the breadth of what's possible. We're going to show you, let me hold this one up. This is the Lenovo Mix. This is a 2-in-1, so an example of a 6th generation Core 2-in-1. You can see just how razor thin that is as well, and obviously it detaches. So you have that best, again, with a 2-in-1, the best of a tablet and the best of a PC right there in one device.
Again, these are
This is all Core M based.
Core M
family.
base,
Yeah.
great solution.
And then just to go even further down the line, this is a new desktop system from Gigabyte. This is 6th generation Core base, so full power of a Core i5 desktop in this tiny little package. All the I/O, all the video capability that you'd expect in this tiny, tiny package. And then just a quick sneak preview of what's possible as we get additional SKUs launching in coming months. I have in this hand, this is an Iris Pro graphics-based 6th generation Core, hasn't launched yet, comes in the beginning of next year. So this is Iris Pro graphics, 6th generation Core, and this, sorry, I get my clicker out of the way, and this really attractive new small form factor system, great for gaming and content creation. And then finally, last but not least, this is the compute stick. I think a lot of folks are familiar with the Intel compute stick. This compute stick is actually Core M based. So at the beginning of next year, you'll see us bring Core M 6th generation processors to the compute stick as well. So you can tell just a wide variety of designs from the very small compute stick all the way up through the performance notebook. And then there's one more first that we wanted to make sure that we hit on today, and that's we're launching our first mobile system, our mobile Xeon processor with 6th generation Core. And Chuck, you've got that. I'm sure they can get a good look at it. Now, you know, just to be fair, apples to apples, back in the day, 5 years ago, right, if you had a workstation, it would probably weigh about 30 kilos, right? I mean, it was a big box.
At least, yeah.
It was not easy to move around. This basically gives you all the workstation class performance in a notebook. It has ECC memory support, and we're going to certify all the workstation applications that you'd expect to run their workloads and optimize the workloads for this platform.
And this I can put in my backpack.
Yeah, you can. I think you can definitely move that around. So I think we're really excited about the performance that brings. Okay, so I wanted to just very early on here talk about Intel's partnership with Microsoft on Windows 10 and the fantastic work that the two teams did developing Windows 10 and 6th generation Core in parallel and the optimizations that we did with each other. And at Intel, we absolutely believe that the best Windows 10 experience, period, is on 6th generation Core platform. We did a ton of optimizations. I won't give you all of them, but just for a few highlights, we did incredible work on responsiveness with a modern standby and what they call instant go. So the ability for the system to wake up and resume in less than 500 milliseconds, which we think is a great new experience for users. We support DX12 graphics, which is fantastic for that media playback capability across platforms. We optimized our 2-in-1s. I held up the Lenovo Mix, for example. We've got many others. We optimized that for Continuum. We're going to show that in a second. We did digital signal processing work in the audio for Cortana, so that when you want to talk to the PC, it can do a better job of understanding the audio and accelerating that experience. And then we also did enhancements in our platform and our Realsense camera, which we'll show as well for Windows Hello, all with the latest security. So I'm just hitting some of them. I mean, I know it's a long list, but tons of specific work and hooks that we put in the hardware optimizations to make sure that Windows 10 experience on 6th generation Core was the best in the world. It's truly a processor that's designed for the capabilities and the experience people want now, running beautifully on an OS that people want now. So with that, Chuck, I want to hit on the more natural user interface experiences that are possible on Windows 10 with 6th generation Core. What do you have to show us?
So one of the big things that really makes these type of solutions so great is the fact that they automatically adapt to what I'm doing.
Right.
So when I'm in my desktop mode, it's that same desktop experience that I've used for years. I'm so comfortable with. I get all my work done so easily. But when I go into
That doesn't look like work, by the way. You've got like all sorts of sports, the NFL.
this is my work.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
So when I go into tablet mode though, watch.
Right. So this is a convertible. You flip it around.
Right.
Asus convertible.
Flip it around, instantly goes into tablet mode. All my applications now are full screen because I don't have that mouse. I got the flexibility of my finger though. And then when I go back into desktop mode,
Looks like you got a problem with your account, by the way.
I know. This is my basketball.
So now it's back into the regular Windows mode.
Exactly. So all that stuff is right there. And again, it changes flexibly to exactly what you're doing.
Right. And I think that was one of the experiences that we wanted to improve on together with Microsoft, with Continuum, was that seamless transition, whether it's a detachable or a convertible from PC mode to tablet mode and then back again.
Right. So it's a tablet when I need it. It's a desktop when I need it.
Got it. Great. Now, in addition to that, we also added with our Intel Realsense technology the ability to do 3D capture and essentially take people or objects in the physical world and scan them into the virtual world on top of Windows 10. So
Yep.
you want to show us a little bit of that?
So I'm going to scan you in here real quickly. So, like you said, we've got those Realsense cameras built in here. So
This is a little scary. You're going to scan me in.
yes, I am here. Just a sec here. Gotta launch that application. I'm gonna try and launch that application. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna launch that application later.
Okay. So I know.
Oh, maybe here it comes.
This is what happens when you go through it too many times in rehearsal. Make it work. There you go. So why don't you show them, because I think you, okay, you're going to do it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So do it real quickly here.
Okay, I won't move. Sorry, I know this is like awkward. I'm not supposed to move too much.
So you can see, now it looks like I'm just putting clay on top of you, but it's actually capturing all the depth analysis in your face.
Oh, that's not good. There's too much depth in my face. Can you fix that?
And to speed it up, we'll just do it just the whole front of you.
Okay.
So, and now it's went through, it's captured all the depth information. You can see
Yeah.
we've got the full model of you right there. You're looking good. Now, earlier we did capture all of you. Now this is what you looking like in low resolution. See,
Wow.
there's all of you.
You see that? Oh, it's a little shiny on top. Somebody needs to do some makeup on that model. I'm kidding. No, that's really cool. So the idea, I mean, we show this today, and thanks, I'm glad you guys got that back up. The reason we show this today is, hey, you can scan a person in, and obviously people are like, oh, you could print it. But the other thing you can do is actually put it inside of games and other environments.
Exactly. I can put you on my Facebook page, and I can put all of you,
Yeah.
top to bottom.
That's right.
I can also insert you into games like Minecraft, or you know what? Next time I make a character in Skyrim, you can look just like
Yeah,
you. You're very
great.
intimidating.
I appreciate that. I'll try to look more fierce. The other thing you can do, and I think you guys, you'll see this from us going forward, is you can actually take physical objects. So, you know, you have kids playing with blocks. We can scan what they make in the blocks and pull it into the game or into the online world and let them interact with it. And we're pretty excited about that. So thanks, Chuck. I'm glad you got that working. Okay, one of the other experiences that we've been focused on, which is very new, is the elimination of passwords. And you know, anybody who's followed Intel for a while, it's an area that we're passionate about and something we've been working on for some time. The average user in the world has 28 passwords. I don't know if you knew that. They log in about 8 times a day. Anybody want to hazard a guess at the most common passwords in use?
Password.
Yes, you're good. You know that. The most common password is password, the word password. The next most common password is 12345677. So I think we can do better than that. So Chuck, with Windows 10, we wanted to show, again, with 6th generation core and Realsense, how we could change that process.
So again, I'm going to use something very secure, which is my face. No one else should have it.
Yeah, let's hope not. So there, oh, yeah,
There you go.
that sounded mean, but it wasn't mean. So you just logged in. So that was like the world's fastest demo.
Exactly.
You walked up, boom, you're logged in, you're done.
Exactly. When you have this face, you either scare the computer, or
I don't think you scared that computer. That's an Asus all-in-one, by the way. It's an all-in-one. So you want to try it again, just in case they missed it?
we can lock it up again real quick here.
I like these.
Like this. Okay, here it goes.
All right. Here's the acid test. Looking for you.
Oh, gotta get a little closer.
There it goes.
There you go.
And awesome. Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate
Thanks.
that. Cool. So that's with Windows 10, and with the optimizations we're doing with Intel TrueKey, you know, you'll obviously be able to log into the system and then same kind of user face and other biometric features to be able to log into other websites that you care about securely. So something we're really passionate about is getting rid of those passwords in a more secure manner. So in addition to kind of that, the great new processor, the experiences that we get in Windows 10, 6th generation core really shines, and it gives us the ability to truly do some more immersive experiences that weren't really possible before. We can do that because we've got breakthrough performance. We talked about 2.5 times the processor performance and 3 times the graphics performance. But the other thing we did is we added hardware support for things like 4K transcoding, just directly in the hardware, no additional hardware required. And you take that in conjunction with other platform capabilities like Ready Mode technology, PCI Express, the Realsense camera, and adding all those ingredients up, we can fundamentally make gaming, content, music creation, media rendering, all a lot more immersive and all better than it's ever been before. So let's start with gaming. Now, there are currently 1.2 billion gamers in the world. That's an estimate. Of those 1.2 billion, over 700 million are currently paying for gaming content and services of some kind. So you step back and that's pretty mind-blowing, right? So 1 in every 10 people on the planet are gaming, right? It has become a mainstream sport. It's not just an enthusiast thing. It is a mainstream sport. At Intel, we sponsor the Intel Extreme Masters Tournament, which is kind of the oldest, longest running, and most prestigious gaming competition in the world. And then this year, in Poland, we held the Intel Extreme Masters Finals, and 100,000 people showed up and packed the event to watch people compete and game, in teams and individually. And just, if you haven't been to one of these, I have been, it's electric. It's like being at a rock concert. It's pretty amazing the way the fans interact. The other thing is, if you just look at the popularity, we set a record with over 1 million concurrent Twitch views for that finals event. So world record, it never happened before. So that was really our inspiration to do on our 6th generation core processors for gaming and our Z170 chipset. Not only do we have great performance, we have some features that gamers really care about with DDR4 memory support, new levels of memory overclocking, fine-grained B-clock tuning, all sorts of things that make it a great gaming platform. But instead of talking about it, let me turn it over to Chuck. And Chuck, why don't we show them what 6th generation core gaming is all about and what the best looks like.
So if you want great gaming, what you want is high frame rates, you want great resolution, and that really only happens on our very latest 6th gen core processor. So here you can see I have a game, and most people play with maybe 1 monitor, maybe 2, but we're gonna play with 3 4K monitors. And just look at this gaming experience you get. You get high frame rates, and you go, when I'm competitively gaming, I don't want anybody sneaking up on me. And if I only have this experience, it could happen. But here, it's not happening.
You sound a little paranoid, actually. I'm kind of concerned. So it's not just, surround sound. It's actually this great immersive video experience, all supported on, 6th generation core and the Core i7 processor.
Exactly. This is the gaming experience you want for the most ultimate game.
And as we said, it really matters. It's not just performance, it's frame rates, it's the quality of the videos, which looks great.
Exactly. All the effects turned up. It's a great gaming experience.
Now, you and I both talked about this. Hey, when we're on the road and we're traveling, we can't necessarily carry the 3 4K displays with us and do the full immersive thing. So when we're on the road, we've got new processors for mobile gaming as well that we want to talk about.
This does get cumbersome to get in your suitcase.
Yes.
So
for the first time, as we said in the opening, I want to repeat, we are launching our first mobile overclocked CPUs. So we have K SKUs, overclockable SKUs for the mobile market now, in addition to the desktop market, and that's what you're going to show.
Right, so like you said, we've always had it in the desktop, but now we have the ability to customize our laptop to our performance needs. So here you can see I got our K SKU laptop, and this is set to run at a little over 3 gigahertz. But if I'm doing something like rendering where I need to add extra performance, I can easily go through and we can just up that frequency.
Wow, that's pretty simple.
We're going to do that, and we're going to say, let's move it to 4 gigs. We're going to hit apply. We're now up and running. So I ran a benchmark earlier called Cinebench, and you can see that I had a score of 691 when I was running it just over 3. Now I can run that, re-render, and now because I got a faster clock rate, I'm gonna run that much, much faster.
So a great example in the Semi system of you doing overclocking on a mobile processor for the first time and seeing the real-time results of that.
Exactly. Get that 20% performance bump right away.
Now, in addition to just having overclocking on a mobile CPU for the first time, we also are delivering some great mobile gaming experience, mainstream gaming experience. I know you wanted to talk about that and just how visually stunning this is.
Exactly. When I can't have that, right, I still want to have the best gaming experience ever. So again, I want those high frame rates. I want a great gaming solution. And again, look at the detail you get off of a laptop. This, because of our 6th generation core and that lower power, we can add other things like this system has 48 gigs of RAM. We've got a 4K monitor built in, so you can have that great gaming experience when you don't have your home desktop.
And hopefully you can, hopefully you can see it, just the amazing quality of the video, supporting 40 frames a second, very high definition. You can see the smoke, the dust, the shadows. It's just absolutely stunning.
It's a great gaming solution.
Don't get yourself shot.
Okay.
Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it. Okay, so I want to shift gears now and talk a little bit about content creation, content consumption, and 4K. And as I said at the beginning, we have had a tremendous amount of work in our platform, and we've done a lot of optimization around media and display engines, including better encode and decode, better power efficiency, support for PlayReady 3, all to deliver that kind of smooth, high-fidelity 4K experience. And it's not just about professional content. I think that's a common misconception. Amateurs, people all around the world are creating 4K videos. They're doing it on GoPro cameras, they're doing it on their phones, and they're sharing it with their friends and family. And 6th generation core, specifically, the hardware accelerates the editing and playback of those videos. So let's take a closer look at what we've got around 4K.
Let's take a look at our Mosaic demo here.
This is an application called Mosaic. Why don't you tell them a little bit about what they're seeing?
So 4K video is everywhere today, right? If you have a high-end phone, your GoPro cameras, they all capture in 4K, and those files are extremely big. To make them portable, to make them editable, to make them so you can display more than one video, it's great if you can put those, encode those, what we call H.265. And that's embedded into our next generation core processor. It makes those files much, much smaller, easier to send, and then easier to play and show. So here you can see an example. We've got what we call our video wall with Mosaic, and you've got not one, but we've got 14 videos here that are all playing at the same time. And if I click on a single video, it blows up, you can still see it, but all the other videos you can still see are playing in the background. So again, this is all made possible because of that great gaming, that great video experience we have within our 6th generation core.
No, I think it's great. I think that's what's great for people to know is, hey, it's not just about how many 4K videos you can do. It's about taking that mass of pictures, videos, etc., and being able to render them in a new way. In this case, it's a sphere that you can actually interact with and organize things and move things around, and it wasn't possible before.
Right.
And in this case, we're doing that with internal graphics. This is all on our integrated graphics inside a 6th generation core. No discrete graphics card required.
Right. We put in a graphics card because it's not native on the CPU. It would actually render even fewer.
Right. It actually slow it down.
Exactly.
So great. Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate that. The other thing that we wanted to do was talk about Thunderbolt a little bit.
We do Thunderbolt.
Part of the key with media, and I think we'll walk back over to this end, is we have Intel, we've delivered Thunderbolt technology, which is a great way to get these large amounts of data onto and off of the platform. I think you want to just do a quick demo of how fast that is.
This is just to show you how much Thunderbolt, this is really designed from the ground up to intersect with this processor. I've took a bunch of pictures. I'm going to copy them to a USB 3 solution and then a Thunderbolt solution, and just look at the difference when we bring those in.
So
all those pictures are.
So you're moving 2 gigs of pictures basically off that platform that fast. It's done.
Yep, they're all done now, and then you can see the USB, even if it's on USB 3, is going to take much, much longer.
Right, great. And I think what's great about Thunderbolt as a USB implementation is it doesn't matter, USB Type-C, high-speed I/O, display, support for charging. It's all built in with Thunderbolt. You don't have to worry about it.
That's all we need is that one cable to do it all.
Great. Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks.
Okay. So I think that's pretty amazing. But one of the things we wanted to do in the Sydney Opera House today was really talk about what happens when we go beyond and we unleash some new experiences. And specifically, what happens when we want to go beyond just regular 4K? And I think, a lot of people think about pixel density. It's not about that. One emerging user experience and usage area that we're really excited about is action videos. And I'd like to share, instead of just talk about action videos and what it is, I'd really like to share this next video, which was created by a professional big wave surfer, Mark Matthews. Mark is taking the art of content creation and action videos really to the next level. So let's have a look at the video, his video, and talk a little bit about his story. So roll the film.
I'm Mark Matthews and I'm a professional big wave surfer. The reason I capture footage of surfing is to be able to inspire people to want to surf. That's why I really need the best quality equipment to be able to capture those moments. We really need powerful processing and computing to deal with the high-res files that we capture in surfing. Pays to stay on the leading edge of technology just so that I can, be on the forefront of providing the best quality surf footage for the audience that follows what I do. Surfing big waves is the most amazing feeling in the world, and I'm really passionate about being able to share that experience with an audience.
So ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Mark Matthews to the stage. Mark, come on out. Hey. So why don't you tell folks a little bit about big wave surfing, how you got into it and some of what you're doing.
I grew up right here in Sydney and surfed ever since I was 10 years old, and slowly started to surf bigger and bigger waves and fell in love with the sport. And I think it was through my passion for wanting to explain to people, why I risked my life. I wanted to explain the amazing feeling you get from big wave surfing. That's why I fell in love with content creation, because I can't explain it in words, so I have to capture it to be able to immerse someone in the experience that I'm feeling, and that way they might not think I'm so crazy.
Wow. I'd be terrified. I look at that going, oh my gosh. But I know you've been doing it for a long time. I mean, you told me earlier you got started really young. You've been doing it for more than 10 years. How's surfing changed and the use of technology changed as you move forward?
Oh, the changes have been huge since the time that I started in forecasting footage, and forecasting swells and where they're going to be and how big they're going to be, but also capturing the content. The best thing for me is actually that nothing gets missed anymore. Back in the day when I first started, they were capturing footage and photos on film cameras. And more often than not, you'd ride the wave of your life, like a career-defining wave, and you'd look up and the photographer would be down changing the film in his camera, and you'd miss it, and you'd have to tell stories of that had happened, and no one believed you. So in this day and age, nothing gets missed, which is amazing.
Well, one of the things I know, and I wanted to kind of come down here for a second, now with the technology, and you had this up earlier, we're able to you're capturing kind of in 360-degree video. We've got it on the 6th generation core all-in-one, and you can actually move it around. Look at that. You can actually move while you play it too if you want. Okay, let me try that. There you go.
Yeah, you mentioned before sharing footage and content with your family.
Right.
And for me, that was like my passion, because my grandma thinks I'm completely crazy, can't understand why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right.
And I could never show her the moment with a still image. But today, like 6 months ago, I was able to bring a virtual reality headset to her, put it on her head, and have her standing inside a 20-foot barrel. So all of a sudden,
that's awesome.
She still wants me to retire, but
no, I think probably maybe even more so. I don't know. No, but it's crazy. And when I see that guy come over the top of you in that wave and he goes flying by, it was crazy.
That was a lucky moment. Yeah.
But just the fact that you can, you weren't. This is again a great example of you were not able to stitch these videos together and kind of manipulate them in real time and change your vantage point the way you can now, right?
You're giving me back years of my life, because like the Thunderbolt technology there, it's just like the footage goes straight in, it's up on the computer, we can actually stitch it and get it to an audience like really quickly and really high quality, which makes all the difference.
So now just talk, just to close, just talk a little bit about, hey, big wave surfing, it's not a huge commercial thing where there's tons of prize money floating around, right? This is really how you make your living and you're able to do what you love doing.
Yeah, my career is based on sponsorships, and the sponsorships are based on me engaging with an audience and and making them fall in love with the sport of surfing. And the only way to do that is to be able to immerse them in what we're feeling. And you couldn't do that before, but now it's just getting closer and closer and more amazing. So it's amazing for my career.
Great, great. Well, thank you so much for coming out and joining us today. Wow, I love that. Pretty amazing. And kind of another area that I wanted to talk about in terms of how 6th generation core can unleash creativity and free artists to do what they love to do is in the area of media and music creation, which is also a huge and rapidly growing segment. And in my opening, you heard Thief with M Faces do their hit song Crazy, and that music was all delivered kind of via the help of a 6th generation core PC. So in order to come out and do a little more depth about music creation, I want to invite on stage with me Grammy and Billboard winner and 4-time ARIA winner, a talented producer, Mark Landon, also known as M Faces. So Mark, why don't you come out and join me? I love the opening.
Oh, thank you.
This is fantastic.
I appreciate it.
I was like, you know, that's going on the high rotation list in my house.
Not bad.
So really love having you out for the 6th generation core launch.
I'm happy to be here. It's exciting.
Why don't you, while you're setting up, why don't you tell people a little bit about, you know, technology, how you use it in the process of music creation, and you know how it helps you, and just what that process looks like and feels like.
Right. Well, you know, starting a song, you know, I'll be in a studio or a room with an artist, and it starts quite organically. You could be on a piano, they might be writing the lyrics, and you write the song. So you have the whole song, you know, arranged and written, but then I have to take it and make it sound, you know, ready for radio and CD, and that's where the sort of computer work comes into it. Yeah. So I'll take it.
That's the hard stuff right there.
It's the hard work. The artist can go on holiday after that. It leaves me to slave over it. But you know, I'll take it, find a palette of sounds that work well for the song, and convey, I guess, the lyrics the best way. Process everything so it doesn't sound bad. You know, you basically want to make it sound good on as many systems as possible. So cars and home stereos, computer, you know, laptops.
And you think through all that and try things on way in advance.
Definitely.
Why don't you show folks a little bit about what you can do with, in this case, 6th generation core technology in your creation process?
Sure. So basically, I use a program called Cubase, and you know what it does. It takes, you know, different channels of audio, puts them together so it makes, you know, a cohesive bunch of sounds and forms a song. So you know, if we take a look at the drums, you know, the drums might sound quite simple when you play it back. But then when you open up, you can actually see there's a...
Yeah, so you're clicking on, it's not, some people think, oh, it's one track, it's a drum track. No, it's not,
no,
right?
There's a bunch. There's things layered to make one sound. So even when you think it is just one sound, it could be 3 sounds making that. Now most of these sounds are processed as well, you know, which means I've put effects and plugins onto a sound, either to, you know, tame some of the dynamics, so it's not, you know, way too loud and distorting. Right. You know, trying to keep everything nice and tucked into a certain amount of volume.
Right.
So things like
keep them in some kind of range.
Exactly right. You know, things like echo and reverb and delays. You know, you throw them on, and that stuff adds up. So you know, as you can see, that's not even all of the drums. There's more.
Well, this is the stuff we talked about. It's like you used to have, you know, thousands of dollars of studio time and a giant soundboard and all this stuff, and you're doing that all with this technology.
Exactly. You know, and I know a lot of big producers and engineers that are strictly laptop-based now as well. So yeah, I mean, things that you couldn't possibly dream of 20 years ago, that you had to have all this money and all this equipment to do.
Now, you know I love Thief's voice because I think it's soulful as hell. So what kind of things do you do with the vocals?
So with the vocal, luckily with Thief, he's a really good singer, so he doesn't need too much work. But
yeah, no auto-tune required. That was not auto-tune.
Exactly. But you know, things like pitch correction, that can actually be used as a creative effect. So during the verse, we wanted to make his vocals sound weird and robotic. So for example, when you play it back.
You don't know how I get back on your feet.
So it makes the vocal go up in pitch and down in pitch and sound really weird and crazy. And that's all happening in real time. You know, that's automated, so it's not printed to the track. It's actually reading the process and adding it to it as you play it, which takes a lot of processing. And you know, every vocal channel has the pitch correction, as you can see over here, a bit of compression. You know, so it can add up.
So two things, I mean, I think that are really important to know. One is you talked about, to me, about flow and just kind of like, hey, I'm in the middle of a creative process. I don't want anything to get in the way of the flow, and that having the right technology can help you kind of stay in the zone.
Exactly. You know, well, I worked on a really old PC for a long time and never even thought to upgrade. And this is years ago. This is when I was sort of starting out, getting a bit more professional. And I just remember, you know, sitting in there with an artist and just feeling quite embarrassed and a bit ridiculous when the whole computer would lock up. And I'm there going, oh God, like, you know, I think anything I don't know what I'm doing, or so, you know, you really need the technology to help, not hold you back.
Right.
And last thing you want when you're in a creative flow is things to just stop working.
And the other thing I wanted to talk to you about or just mention is, you know, you're a professional, but you started a long time ago when you were young.
Yeah.
And I think, hey, this kind of technology obviously works in a professional context, but if you're a music lover or a hobbyist, or you want to get involved and try to make music, people shouldn't be intimidated, right? I think technology will make that
now more than ever, you can get started in your bedroom, you know, with a laptop. You know, I started on a desktop PC, and but now, yeah, it's easier than ever. You know, a kid in his bedroom can be doing what these big pop producers are doing in LA. So, all thanks to, you know, good technology. Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Well, hey, thanks a lot, Mark. I appreciate you coming out today. Well, I think by now you've seen some of the amazing experiences that are enabled with 6th generation core. I do want to say one thing. I'd be remiss if I didn't. You know, I think now is a great time to buy a new PC. The reason I say that, you may not know, there are 1 billion PCs in the environment 3 years old or older. And they don't have the ability to do a lot and kind of unleash a lot of the experiences that you've seen here today. We've got the broadest range of devices coming to market ever. We've got the best processor we've ever done. And I don't think there's ever been a more compelling time to buy a new PC. But I want to shift gears just a little bit here, since we're in Sydney, and talk about something very special. On September 1st, Intel announced a major partnership. We announced a major partnership with the Sydney Opera House. And the Opera House's Grammy Award-winning studio is going to be renamed the Intel Broadcast Studio as a part of the sponsorship that we're doing together. And to talk more about the nature of that partnership and what we're doing, I'd like to invite out on stage Kate Burley, who is the Managing Director of Intel Australia New Zealand. So Kate, come on out.
Hi everyone, thanks for that. Yeah, thanks GB, great intro. And we are so excited to be here today at Sydney Opera House, not just because it's just a great venue anyway, but as GB said, because we've got this great new partnership between Intel and Sydney Opera House, this wonderful iconic brand. First thing that cap off the ranks is not just the branding of Intel Broadcast Studios, right? Anyone can do that. But of course, the studios are full of fantastic technology, a lot of the technology that we're seeing today, and it won't be long before we've ripped out everything that they've had in there for a few years now. We've upgraded everything with 6th generation core processors. The engineering team in Intel Broadcast Studios at the Opera House, they are just like blown away with what's about to happen, and it's just an absolute pleasure, I have to say, to be able to come in and upgrade someone's tech and say, let's really get rocking with what else we can do together. The other thing about the Sydney Opera House collaboration is that, you know, when you look at Intel, I mean, we're pretty good at exposing things. You know, we talk a lot about is what's inside that counts, right? And we've seen a lot of that when we talk about our processors here today. The Sydney Opera House is a little bit like that as well. In their case, they've got 8.2 million visitors who come and visit the house every year. 1.2 million of those get to come inside the house. But the other 8.2 are walking around the house, peering in the windows, admiring the architecture and the view. And the vision of the Opera House, and the reason why they came to us, is they said, hey, Intel, you're very good at exposing what's inside and making it count. How can you bring what's happening inside in the Opera House outside using technology so that more people can interact and collaborate with some of the great performance and artistry that we have happening here in Sydney? So when you think about it, what a great opportunity. How could we say no? So, you know, I'm personally thrilled that we're really involved in this collaboration with the Opera House, and I hope that, you know, within time you'll see more of that, either digitally online with the content that we stream through Intel Broadcast Studios, or of course coming and visiting the forecourt or inside the house, where you'll increasingly see more technology that's been brought to life by Intel and Sydney Opera House. So looking out for that one. So GB,
Yeah.
how about we come back on stage and
Yeah.
just go through a little wrap up
Yeah,
here?
we do wrap up. Just hang out right here. So in summary today, we're launching our 6th generation core here in Asia Pacific. It's our best processor and our best platform ever. Hopefully in a very short amount of time, we took you through some pretty dramatic new experiences, whether that's logging in with no passwords, being able to switch from tablet and PC mode together, a mobile Xeon-based workstation, unleashing content creativity with the big wave surfing and 4K video, and just the best gaming experience in the world, and trying to allow music creators and people to be at their best. It's just a really, I try to give you a very, very solid feel for what's possible with 6th generation core technology and why it really matters and it's relevant today more than ever. Again, there's never been a better time than to refresh the PC. We're excited about it. And with that, I'd like to thank you all here in the room and folks online very much. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Thanks.
And a big thanks to M-Phasers, Thief and Mark Matthews for joining us up here on stage. I think they really brought the demos to life. I love that. We're really excited about all of the new experiences that the 6th generation core processor are going to bring to life, not just here in Australia, but all around the world. We'd now like to invite the press to please stay here. But everyone else who's not press, time to go over to the Utsen room, where you can see an amazing showcase of all of the different MNC and OEM products available around Asia Pacific. It's been put together in one place. I understand it's the largest demonstration in the world, or the largest showcase in the world of all the products that are available. I think there's 60 systems on display. We will be joining you a little bit later with the press as well, but please, if you're not press, please be upstanding and make your way out to the Woodson room. There's beer, there's wine, there's canapes. We know how to throw a party, so get out there and enjoy yourself.